It went from a must-have for parental peace of mind to the #1 public enemy of the classroom, from a high-tech guardian angel preventing kids from getting lost to a shiny new tool for social climbing. The smartwatch on your child's wrist has ignited a firestorm in parent group chats, given teachers a collective migraine, and made manufacturers laugh all the way to the bank. What on earth is really going on inside this tiny, powerful device? Today, let's talk about the epic wrist war currently raging among parents in the city of Shenzhen. On the surface, it's a simple debate. Should this watch be allowed in school? But when you peel back the layers, my goodness, it's a chaotic stew of safety anxiety, educational dilemmas, commercial scheming, and a desperate battle to defend childhood itself. It all kicked off right as the new school year began. A parent in Shenzhen, likely pushed past their breaking point by their kid's blindingly bright watch screen, or perhaps the in-game purchase receipts hidden within, had enough. They went straight to the People's Daily online forum and fired a public cannonball at the Bureau of Education. For the love of God, they pleaded, ban these harmful telephone watches. That one cry for help was all it took. The parent-teacher community instantly erupted. It was louder and more chaotic than throwing a bucket of water into a wok of burning oil. On one side, the supporters immediately chimed in, lamenting how their kids were secretly playing games and scrolling short videos during class. Their homework looked like it was written by a chicken scratching in the dirt. After school, they weren't competing on grades. They were competing on who had the coolest watch face. The culture of keeping up with the Joneses had officially traveled from their sneakers to their wrists. But the opposition was just as fierce. Easy for you to say, one parent shot back. My kid has to cross 3 major roads and walk through 2 urban villages to get home. Without this watch, with its GPS and call functions, who do I cry to if something happens? The few public phones at school either have a line that stretches to eternity or are perpetually busy. In a real emergency, it's already too late. Both sides were utterly convinced they were right, and the Education Bureau was caught in the crossfire. But before we pick a side, let's look at the data. Just how common are these things? Well, industry research shows that in China, roughly 1 in every 3 school-aged children wears one. In the first quarter of 2024 alone, over 4 million kids' smartwatches were sold, a year-on-year increase of nearly 45%. That's a growth spurt faster than any kids. The market is now worth well over 10 billion yuan. This isn't a fad, it's a consumer tsunami. And the manufacturers? With profit margins hovering around 40%, far juicier than selling regular smartphones, are practically printing money. Now, why are parents buying them? Over 85% cite 2 core needs: real-time location tracking and emergency calls. They're not buying a watch, they're buying peace of mind. In a city like Shenzhen, where millions of dual-income families rely on grandparents or after-school programs, that tiny screen showing "arrived at school" or "on the way home" is a vital cyber tether. It's a fragile safety line in the urban jungle. But of course, manufacturers weren't content just selling a safety tool. That's boring. Driven by commercial logic, they launched a full-blown arms race on your child's wrist. Your watch has a camera, mine has front and back cameras. You have a step counter, I have a fitness leaderboard for kids to compete on. You have chat, I have a friends circle, complete with likes, payment functions, mini games, and short video apps. But the masterstroke of evil genius was adopting the closed ecosystem model from the tech world. Certain brands, yes, I'm looking at you, the one with over 50% market share, made it so different brands of watches couldn't add each other as friends. Instantly, this created a naked chain of contempt, a pecking order on the playground. The kid with the premium model looks down on the kid with the basic one. The one with games looks down on the one who can only tell time. This isn't a watch. It's social currency and an anxiety accelerator, perfectly projecting the status anxieties of the adult world onto elementary schoolers. The consequences? Classroom discipline has become a disaster zone. While the teacher lectures, kids are secretly swiping at their wrists, checking leaderboards, or chatting in their watch-based group chats. One parent in Fuzhou found 32 different games on their child's watch, complete with daily check-ins and quests. The kids were more dedicated to this than to their actual homework. Teachers are at their wits' end. This thing is 100 times more stealthy than passing notes. And then there's the health issue that truly hits parents where it hurts: their children's eyesight. Kids are practically pressing their eyeballs against these tiny screens. According to official data from 2020, over 52% of all children and adolescents in China are nearsighted. That number skyrockets to over 80% for high schoolers. While the watch isn't the only culprit, this tiny, high-frequency screen is an undeniable vision assassin. Faced with this uproar, the Shenzhen education authorities proposed a compromise: classified management. In plain English, basic watches with only location and calling functions are allowed in school, but must be handed over to the teacher for safekeeping. The fancy mini smartphones with games and social media? Banned. It sounds reasonable, but in reality, it's a logistical nightmare. Are we now expecting teachers to become expert gadget reviewers, able to distinguish between thousands of models? And what happens when a manufacturer pushes a stealthy software update overnight, adding new games? The burden on teachers is immense. So who is the real winner in this whole mess? It's the manufacturers, hiding in the eye of the storm, counting their cash. They have masterfully pinpointed and exploited the dual anxieties of our time: the parent's fear for their child's safety and the child's fear of social exclusion. They create the anxiety, then sell you the temporary cure. It's a perfect vicious cycle. To break this cycle requires real action from all sides. Parents, you have to be the hardcore filter. Ask yourself, are these extra features really necessary? The data shows only 27% of parents think their kids need game functions. Buy the simple version. Turn off the App Store. Set usage time limits. And, most importantly, teach your child that a watch is a tool, not a toy or a status symbol. Schools, create clear, consistent rules. But go further. Make digital literacy a real class. Teach kids how to have a healthy relationship with their devices. One middle school that tried a device-free month found that 78% of students discovered that, hey, talking and playing with friends in the real world is actually pretty great. And the manufacturers have a conscience. Stop stuffing children's products with addictive games and microtransaction traps. Focus on genuinely useful features. There are brands that have cut out all the entertainment fluff, and their users' daily screen time is just a fraction of the gaming models. Clean money is still good money, isn't it? Finally, regulators, get serious. Classify these watches by function at the point of sale. Make it clear which ones are banned from school. Crack down on hidden consumer traps and anti-addiction loopholes. Find the companies that violate these rules until it hurts. Ultimately, this huge debate over a tiny watch is a reflection of our entire society's clumsy, anxious struggle to protect childhood in the face of a digital flood. The technology changes, from arcades to smartphones to these watches, but the core parental fears remain the same. We fear our children being left behind by technology, but we fear them being devoured by it even more. The smartwatch itself is neither an angel nor a demon. It is a tool, shaped by the twin forces of commerce and educational need. The crucial question is whether we, the adults, have the wisdom and the willpower to embrace its convenience while holding a firm line, ensuring our children have healthy bodies, the ability to focus, the joy of real social interaction, and a childhood that isn't sold to the highest bidder by a tech company. The war on the wrist may eventually cool down, but the great test of how we parent, educate, and innovate in the digital age has only just begun. A modern poem might capture this moment. A 10 billion prize, a tempting sweet delight, as merchants scheme and fan the flames of fright. A cyber leash to keep the child in view that soon becomes a social cage, brand new. Beneath the desk, a tiny glowing screen, a world of envy, toxic and unseen. While teachers sigh and parents start to ban, don't let a gadget spoil the childhood plan. That's all we have time for today. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.